Hello, everybody. How are you? Hi, this is Tony from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping you look better, feel better without, the pressure. How is everyone today? The weekend is over. It's a new week. What are your plans today? Today, I want to talk about guilt and self-care because this is an issue. I don't think we women are ever going to truly be over that guilt of needing self-care and owning up to it and embracing it, because society has put so many owning up and embracing their power and claiming and taking ownership of yourself, your humanity, your individuality. A lot of women, yes, it's 2018, but still, if you come from, especially if you come from more traditional cultures, like a lot of African cultures, Middle Eastern cultures, women have, yes, we've come a long way, but there's still so much more in terms of freedom of expression, social justice, individual justice and rights and basic human rights for women, rights over our own bodies. Even today in 2018, here in the US, women are still struggling to be the masters or mistresses rather, of their own bodies. We're still fighting and debating about whether you have the right as an individual to say, no, this can take place in my body, or no, it can't take place in my body. I don't want to really get tied up into the debate over the so-called pro-life, pro-choice movement, but it comes down to a basic issue, really, and I see it as a symptom of a larger issue, which is women's ability to rise up in their power and take ownership of who they are as individuals, as human beings. And a lot of the roles that women have been cast in today and even generations ago was put on them by society, mainly paternal societies that define the role of a woman and who you were as a woman by some I don't want to say abstract, that's not the right word. What I'm looking for is for some predetermined whatever concept was lying at the back of their minds when they decided that women, this is all you can do, and men, this is what you do, and you are the arbiter of all humanity, and you get to say what happens to this person, that person. And the truth of the matter is, women are waking up and becoming woke, so to speak, to the fact that you are a human being first. Gender is secondary. You have basic human rights. You have a right to dignity. You have right to determine what happens to your own body. You define your sacred space. You define who you are. Nobody else has the right or the power to do that. So having said that, enough of that rant. I want to address the issue of guilt in the context of self-care. I know in my own journey, I had some real issues with that, because I came from a very, like I said, a very male-dominated society. Women's roles are were very restrictive, and in a lot of instances, particularly in parts of Africa, that's still the case. Yes, women are rising up and taking ownership of their power. Same thing, this movement is moving global. It's a global movement of women coming into their own, rising up, taking power, taking ownership that is theirs as human beings, and they're claiming themselves, not anybody else, claiming themselves and taking back their power. And Self-care is just another aspect of that, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. I feel like a lot of women, and I've spoken to a lot of women, struggle with this. That's part of the that crazy term, and some of the underlying stuff beneath that term superwoman, where you're pulled in 10 different directions with no time left over for yourself. You give so much of yourself until there's nothing left, and consequently you end up feeling overwhelmed, depressed. In a lot of instances, your health suffers so much tremendously because you are, there's no human being that can sustain the state of being empty. Even your car, you know, can't run on fumes. A car gives out when there's no gas. You don't replenish the gas in the car, guess what? You're not going nowhere. I don't care what you use that car for, taking the kids to school, going grocery shopping, going to work. None of those things get addressed if there's no gas in the car. So that's just a physical thing, an inanimate object. Can you imagine a human being? That's my cat, people. Leo, behave. Human beings, we have basic needs. We are spiritual, we are emotional, we are physical, we are very complex. Women are super complex because what? There's an aspect of our being where we not only carry our own being, our own spirit, but we have the capacity to carry another being, another soul within the recesses of our own bodies. There is nothing like that on the planet that is so divine and so sacred and so powerful, and yet so many women are powerless because of that very aspect of their physical self and spiritual self. And so when it comes to self-care, I've heard so many women, they say, well, I feel so, I feel guilty, about, what if someone so-and-so needs to go somewhere? I can't say no. Why can't you say no? Of course you can say no. But society has told you that you can't say no. So you've got these restrictions on you. You have no defined boundaries. And you're wondering why your waistline is expanding. What you eat sucks. You are buying all these processed foods to fill in the gaps because you have no energy or no creativity to actually connect with your food, connect with your body, connect with those things that energize, restore, elevate your body, your spirit, your mind, because you're dealing with this guilt complex associated with societal pressures and the expectations of other people, and you have no boundaries. And so when it comes to self-care, this is a huge issue. A lot of women say they don't have time. Really what they're saying is they don't have boundaries. That's what it means. If you're honest, I'm just going to give it to you hard and to the point. When you say you don't have time to work out, to take care of yourself, really what you're saying is you have no boundaries. Why do I say that? Because you lack the ability to say no, for fear of disappointing others, fear of the expectations of others, fear of claiming your power, fear of taking ownership of your own individuality, your own sacred space, your own consciousness. And when you give that up to other people, whether by design, subconsciously, or you conditioning, you suffer, your health suffers. And so that's why it's a lot of instances it's so difficult to get on the path to good health, on the path to taking care of yourself. Exercise, restoring self, meditation, all of those things are aspects of self-care where it shows that you are aware of your value as a human being. It shows that you have boundaries and that you have defined those boundaries around your sacred space. When nothing is sacred, it's just like that biblical term of casting your pearls before the swine. If you don't set boundaries, whether for family, friends, or obligations, guess what? people are just going to keep rolling right over you. And it's not, in a lot of instances, it's not even because they don't care about you or they don't love you, but they have their own needs and their own wants and their own desires too. And human beings are ultimately selfish. I don't care how selfless you are. Human beings, like any other animals, are self-serving. And so when you don't set boundaries for yourself, self-care is the number one thing to go. So if you're wondering why everything is out of sync, you feel like the hamster going nowhere, check your boundaries. And that's why I tell all my clients the same thing. It's not that you don't have time. And a lot of people have gotten angry with me when I say it's not that you don't have time, it's just that you don't have boundaries. Because when you don't have boundaries, that means you don't have balance. Everything is bleeding into the other and everything is in chaos and nothing gets done to anyone's satisfaction, not even yours. That's why you feel drawn, you feel overwhelmed, you feel stressed, you feel lackluster, and you use food and you start corrupting the true nature and the true essence and function of food. You start using food to fill that void, to fill that emptiness that is there. So that's just a little bit of what you can expect to hear when I talk about self-care. Today I was talking about guilt and self-care, and these are just some of the issues I address, and I'll be talking more about this. This is a theme going forward as I get ready to take my ladies through the vegan detox program. I am so excited, ladies. You want to know more about my vegan detox program? It is designed to help you break through the guilt trip, to break through the bad habits with food. Stop fighting with your food. Love it, enjoy it, revel in it, let it nourish, elevate your body, elevate your spirit. What you eat affects you on a chemical level, which means it also affects you mentally and emotionally. So ladies, thank you for joining me here at Freedom of the Crossroads. Tonye helping you look better, feel better without the pressure. See you next time.